The issue of inflation, it's unfortunate that January last year, inflation was at 5.4%. January this year, it was at 9%, and it is rising. Mr. Speaker, I even sometimes wonder, when they talk about 9% increase, that would mean that something that was 100 shillings would be costing 109 shillings. The truth is, it is almost 50% in my estimate, because something that was 100 shillings is probably 150. So we have a problem of inflation, and that is something that we need to deal with. Mr. Speaker, maybe one of these reasons, because I've looked at these strategies here, and I've been asking myself, where is it that the common Mwananchi's problems are being addressed? Where is it that the cost of living is being brought down? Where is it that the cost of unga is being brought down? Mr. Speaker, maybe that's why we have a date with Destiny on 20th, next week on Monday. Because we are not dealing with the problems of the people. We must ensure that we deal with the problems of the people. I've looked at the 5 pillars. You know, 5 pillars touted as a bottom-up economic strategy. And it is a replica of the Big 4 agenda. And let me point out, one of the pillars is agriculture. On Big 4, they called it food security. One of the strategies, the other one, is housing and settlement. Big 4, they called it affordable housing. The other strategy is healthcare. Big 4, they called it universal healthcare.
There is a point of order from the chair of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering, is it in order for the honorable member to eloquently state that this House has the power of the purse, yes, and therefore we can do anything around budget and the economy? He is a member of this House himself, and therefore that responsibility is actually on his shoulders, actually being a leader. The same mouth, Mr. Speaker, within a second, then he says he has a date with Destiny on 20th to seek for the justice of Kenyans again in Maandamano. Mr. Speaker, is it proper for the member to mislead Kenyans? Is he in order, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, I will ignore and continue. That is the kingpin of Central Kenya speaking. I don't want to answer him. Mr. Speaker, let me just go straight to the second schedule that has all these amounts set out. And I want to go to the one that talks about basic education. In the basic education schedule, you can see that the amount of money that is set aside for basic education, that is primary education and secondary education, which has GSS also, is 19.7 billion for capital expenses. So I'm wondering, how is that enough for us to build classes, labs for art, labs for home science, labs for pre-technical, labs for sciences, labs for ICT? 19.7 billion. Really, Mr. Speaker, I think there is a big problem in JSS. It's not been addressed. I think that's one of the things that I thought this government would at least try and do. So, Mr. Speaker, we will keep talking about it, because, you know, on the floor of the House, we have the opportunity to talk. But when it comes to voting, I'm certain that the majority will always have their way. But Kenyans must know that the issue of JSS, if it is not addressed now, it will continue haunting our children, and our children will continue to suffer.